Hey guys, I am going to be telling you a story time today. Telling a story today. I've been trying to think of more videos that I can make on my channel, and I remember this story from my first job because I have a really bad memory. I literally don't remember anything, and I thought about this story and I was like, oh, I can tell that story. Basically, I'm going to be telling you guys about the time that I got a racist coworker fired at my first job. And it's not clickbait or anything, he was racist. I told my boss about it, he got fired. But I'm going to be telling you guys that story. I'm going to be using fake names for all the people that were involved in this story, just because I don't know if they want their names out there and stuff. And yeah, I have it written down, the fake names that I have for them. So basically, I used to work at a country club. I worked in the gym, and there were usually 5 or 6 people working at once. There was laundry, floor, front desk, men's locker room, women's locker room, oh, and lifeguard. So usually 6 people working at once. But a lot of the time we were understaffed, which is kind of ridiculous, but that's a story for a different day. But I worked in laundry most of the time that I worked there, basically because my boss hated me and didn't want me to work anywhere else, but it's probably a story for a different day. So there was one day where we were understaffed and there wasn't someone to work in the men's locker room at night. And I always worked night shifts, well, usually, except weekends I worked mornings because we were only open till 3. But this happened on a night shift. And I was in laundry because I was always in laundry. I didn't mind though, I loved it. And my friend Amy was on the floor, and Lucas was in the pool, and Brandy was in the front desk. And in the morning, Jonah had worked in the men's locker room, and he was trying to tell CJ how to do everything, show him everything that needs to be done, etc., etc., trying to explain everything to him before he left. So CJ had never worked in the men's locker room before. He was a lifeguard. That was what he always did, but we were short-staffed, so he needed to work a different position that day, and he had to work in the men's locker room. And, Jonah was like, you need to do this, before you leave, blah, 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 all this stuff. And, yeah, my friend Amy, sorry, I have to keep looking at this because I just want to say their real names, but Amy was on the floor, and she was super annoyed that day. Her and I were sitting in the break room eating lunch, and CJ came in, and she was like, I'm not in a good mood today, I'm tired, can you just leave me alone, because she had class that morning at 8 a.m. or something. And she literally was just leave me alone, I don't want to talk to you today, because CJ was really annoying. He was really weird, really weird, and nobody liked him. But it wasn't someone would be hey, we don't like you. It was just he's a weirdo, we're not gonna hang out with him. So when I worked at this job, I did smoke cigarettes quite a bit, just so that I could go out and take smoke breaks and get out of that place, get out of the laundry room for a couple of minutes. So I'm getting ahead of myself. So I was in the laundry room, and CJ comes in, and he's like, do you know Jonah's number? I want to text him and show him how he left this soap not filled up, and prank call him and be hey, this is the KKK. And literally after that, I had my headphones in, I just turned it up and just got on my phone and just completely ignored him. I was he did not just say that. He did not just say that to me at work about someone that we work with. He did not. And a couple of minutes after that, me, Amy, and Lucas went outside to smoke, and I was you guys are not going to believe what CJ said to me. And I told them, and they were he said the same thing to us. Amy apparently was up in the pool sitting with Lucas. They were talking, and CJ came up there and said the same thing to them. And then we went to after we came back in, we told Brandy, and she was oh, that's why he asked for Jonah's number, blah blah blah, all this stuff. So there was 3 of us that he literally said it to, and then someone else who he was asking for Jonah's phone number. And so for the rest of the night, nobody talked to him, because why would we? You know, like, we just wanted to get our jobs done and leave, you know? Sorry, let me fix that. So then I don't remember I think it was the next day, CJ came in and was, like, demanding to talk to my boss. We're gonna call her Liz. He was, like, demanding to talk to her. Like, he wasn't working. He was standing behind the front desk. And she came out and, like, yelled at him and was like, you can't be here. You can't be behind the front desk. Like, you're not scheduled to work today. Like, you have to leave. Like, all this stuff because he was literally so annoying, even to the boss. And then I had, like, went up to my boss and I was like, hey, like, whenever you get a chance, like, I need to talk to you. I think I emailed her. I emailed her and I was like, whenever you get a chance, like, I want to, like, meet with you or, like, talk to you, like, about some stuff that's been going on because, you know, I wanted to tell her because that is so, like, not okay. And so I saw her at work. I think it was the next day, and she saw me and she was like, oh, you wanted to meet with me. Like, I'll let you know when I'm free and then you can come back to my office and we can talk. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, that's fine. And, then one of my other coworkers, I don't have a name for her, so we're gonna call her Jenny. I don't know. She was like, hey, like, Liz wanted me to make sure that she wasn't, like, rude to you or anything, and I was like, no, like, she was totally fine. Like, I know she was, like, overwhelmed. There was a lot going on that morning, and CJ showed up completely unannounced and was, like, demanding to talk to her. And yeah, so I got to talk with her later that day, and I was like, we were just talking about, like, random stuff. And then I was like, and I wanted to talk to you about CJ too. And she was like, oh, like, I don't want to talk about him anymore. Like, I've heard enough. And I was like, no, like, you need to hear this. And I, like, told her about it. And she was like, you're sure that's what he said? And I'm like, yeah, that's what he said. Like, he said that he wanted Jonah's phone number, who was black, to prank call him and pretend he was the KKK. And she was like, does anyone else know this? Like, did he say this to anyone else? And I was like, yeah, he said it to Amy and Lucas. Like, they both told me. Like, I was with them. And I was like, you're not going to believe what CJ just said to me. And they were like, he said the same thing to us. And I was like, yeah. And he, like, asked Brandy for his number too. And just, like, all this stuff. And so I told her about it. And then I was back in the laundry room. And Fred was working in the men's locker room. And he, like, brought down a load of laundry. And he was like, so what happened with CJ? And I was, like, telling him about it. And then my boss, Liz, walked in and was like, okay, like, you can't tell anyone else about this. Like, I emailed Jack. That can say Jack is such a generic name. And who's the other person? Jimmy. And she's like, I emailed, like, Jack and Jimmy about it. And we're going to meet about it and talk about it, blah, blah, blah. And so I'm pretty actually, I don't know if CJ knew that Liz knew yet, but after he found out, he was, like, texting Lucas, like, all these giant paragraphs, like, you know, I was just joking, like, we're friends, like, it was just a joke, I didn't mean anything by it. And he was, like, messaging, like, Brandy and, like, all of my other coworkers on Facebook, and was like tell Elena to tell her that, like, to tell Liz that she didn't mean it, like, tell her that I was joking, blah, 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 like, all this stuff. But he never, like, said anything to me. He only, like, messaged everyone else, never, like, reached out to me, never added me on Facebook or anything. And so, obviously, I wasn't gonna be like, oh, yeah, he was joking, because, like, he was a weirdo and he's racist. So, then after a couple of days, he got fired, and then Jonah did leave that job, because I was, like, friends with everyone that I worked with there. Like, I was never gonna be, like, shady about anyone. And Jonah, like, did, like, ask me, like, what was going on, and I'm like, you know, like, Liz told me not to tell you. So I didn't tell him exactly what was going on until, sorry, I keep moving my hair, I'm sorry. I didn't tell him what was going on until Liz told him what had happened. And then, like, he, like, pulled me aside and he was like, so he said he was gonna prank call me and say he was the KKK. And I was like, yeah, like, and I literally, I think he said something else too, but I can't remember. But that was, like, the one thing that, like, sticks out so much in my brain. Because who says stuff like that? Like, at work, to your coworkers, like, who does that? But yeah, he got fired. And then, like, pretty soon after that, Jonah quit too. And nobody liked Jonah either, but, like, I wasn't just gonna let someone be, like, racist to, or, like, about him behind his back. Like, that is so messed up. Actually, it's kind of funny. Whenever Jonah, like, wanted to quit, I like, encouraged him to, because no one liked him. I didn't really like him either, but I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't, like, shady to anyone. And I had another coworker who was like, Saint Elena, you got rid of the 2 people nobody liked. But, it, like, obviously I wanted CJ to be gone, because, like, that's so not okay. Like, that is so messed up. But as for Jonah, like, he would ask me to watch the front desk, and I was never trained on the front desk. Like, I didn't know how to transfer calls on the phone. Like, I barely knew how to do anything there. And then he would be like, can you, like, watch the desk for me? And he would leave for, like, a half an hour. And I'm just sitting there, like, I don't know what to do. And that happened all the time. And it just got to the point where everyone was so frustrated with him. And then he said he wanted to quit. And I was like, yeah, like, if you don't want to be here, then, like, you should quit. And he did. And CJ got fired. And I didn't work there for much longer either, but that's a whole different story. I might tell the story of why I quit my first job. It was pretty messed up because I loved it there. I miss it. It's been a year since I've worked there, right? Yeah, a year yesterday since my last day. And I mean, I miss it. Like, my mom works there. She works in the restaurant. My best friend works there. Like, I miss it, but I got treated so unfairly there that I would never even want to go back. But yeah, that is the story of how I got a racist coworker fired. It was so messed up. Like, I still can't even believe he, like, said that to me and, like, wanted me to, like, joke with him about, like, being racist. Like, people are so stupid. So stupid. And he was like, this is gonna go on my record. Like, I'm not gonna be able to get another job another job that's this good. Like, all this stuff. And it's like, dude, well, you shouldn't have been racist to your coworkers about another coworker. Like, what do you mean? Yeah, that's the whole story. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe. I don't know how to do this. Subscribe if you want to. Follow my social medias. They're in the description. I use Tumblr the most. And I'm using a new Twitter now. Not new Twitter, but I'm using my personal Twitter instead of the one with YouTube at the end. Just because I never went on it. I never checked it. Like, I never did anything. I never tweeted on it. So, I'm just going to use my personal Twitter. It doesn't matter. It's really not that big a difference. And it's, like, the same name as on here. It's Lana Del Rey X. And my other one was Lana Del Rey YT. So, it's not even really that big a difference. So, yeah. Check those out. Follow me if you want to. And I will see you guys next time. Bye!